Okay, I've been building up in my browser a whole stack of tabs. Some of the more intriguing vehicles that I find on this car sales. Yeah, you got some rocket science car owners here. BMW doesn't look too bad. E46, a lot of people are into the E36, which I think is a previous model. Generally speaking, they're shit anyway, but let's have a look here. It's not bad mileage on it. It's about 110,000 miles, almost. Vehicle is to be sold as is. The vehicle is not currently running at the moment due to water tank issue. But you're not ever much required to get it up and running again. What the friggin' hell is the water tank? What do you mean, radiator? What? It's a radiator. It's not a water tank. And if there's any water tank, that's the overflow. But you don't need the overflow to be good to drive. You just need, well, water or coolant in the radiator. Wow, that's just bizarre. Let's get another one up here. Sod's giving me this crap. Funny thing is, I bring it up straight away. Not a problem. And when I actually go to look at it again, even though I can see with the tab drop down, it wants to reload the bloody thing. Here we go. Doesn't look too bad. It's a bit shabby on it, you know, a bit of bird shit on the back. Ooh, what's that on the side there? Yeah, it's that. Yeah, yeah, he hit a kangaroo with it. Glanced to the side and not surprisingly breaks your lights or your indicators. $600 on it. You know, that's bloody hopeful right there, $600. It is an automatic. It still has done, oh, I don't know, too many kilometres, probably 160,000 or more miles, I suppose. 250,000 Ks. A great run-around car, cheap on tyres and fuel, CD player and radio, and an automatic transmission. For the price, you can't turn this down. Oh, yes, you can. Tyres are fair, can maybe pass roadworthy. That's like inspection, is what we call roadworthy certificate. No roadworthy certificate with this, as it's a bargain price for a reason. Well, you know, I'm not surprised, because to get the damn certificate alone costs you like $300. But still, it's not really a bargain for what it is. Here's a ripper. Only problem is, I hit a roo, so it's got a slight dent. In passenger front guard, stopping the door from opening. So let's get this straight. It's got a slight dent in the, well, you can call it passenger front guard, I'll call it fender. It's a slight dent, but it's stopping the door from opening. Oh, well. He goes on to say, guard can be moved forward to allow the door to open or replace the guard entirely. So hang on a minute. Guard can be moved forward to allow the door to open. Who's going to be pissing around trying to move it forward? Like, maybe it just means you've got to adjust it and set it forwards a bit, but, like, you are not going to get it on the road with a dent like that. Just absolutely not, you know. Anyway, these people are dreaming. And here we go. Here's one that should be a fairly realistic price. When this heap of crap decides it's got to load everything twice. Wow! It's actually been sold. That's remarkable. And I bet you he just, put sold and it probably wasn't even sold anyway. It probably went to the crusher, I'd say. Because this is the Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar car. Allah Akbar car. 2002, it's basically a Chev Lumina for all intents and purposes. You think she looks alright on that side, well, then we scroll and she's not too bad, except my phone's a bit dark and there's a big stain on the back seat. Little bit of a scuff mark, but yeah, when you get up close, that's not good at all. That's all dented in on the front fender there, and yeah, I think that might be from an earlier photo, or just too far back to see. Not too bad. She's done about 125,000 miles, so it's not too bad. Here's the best part. Because I want to return to the hometown, I sell the car. Allahu Akbar. Car condition. Car has an overheating problem and can't drive too far as a result. In other words, the engine's just, she's overheating all the time. Now, if there's a thermostat, you might save it. Yeah, considering that bit of a dent there, he had 380 on it. So it's probably almost worth it, but, if 125,000 miles, that's a good engine. If it's an overheating problem that's only a thermostat, hey, it's handleable. And those fenders are easy to come by. But $380, I don't even think it's worth that, because I've seen perfect condition ones with no dent and no overheating problems, with more like, instead of 187, it's, around that. Sometimes it's even lower, in the 160s or 170s, not in the 180s, for $500. These are the bulletproof 3800 GM engine, the ones, you've got them in the state as a Traverse. This is your normal, longitudinal or whatever you want to call it, not the side to side, because that's a rear wheel drive, as all of those were, but it is 2002. This little banger here, that's probably not even worth really showing, but oh, it's sold. I'm sort of not surprised, because he had 1,000 on it originally, and then it was 700. But these, and all these idiots who laugh at this, it's actually true. 1.5 litre engine. I looked this up in detail. No issues, regularly serviced, and she's done 204,000. So what's that? It's not. It's about, probably about 130, 135,000 miles, something like that. Maybe 140,000. It's not too bad. But this is the non-interference Mitsubishi, the Mazda copy. So these had a Mazda copy engine, 1.5 litre, weak as piss. They're only 90 horsepower. But he dropped it to $700 Australian equivalent. That's, God, about 450 US. Only strange thing is he managed to burn a hole in the back seat. Besides from that, it's actually a little ripper. But yeah, there's the hole again. I'm not surprised he sold it, because, just considering the condition it's in, it's really quite nice. Even though they're generally shit car, a lot of people don't know that's a Mazda engine. A lot of early Kia ones were. But anyway, we're getting off track. Some of these are ones that I have actually been dreaming of myself. Yeah, sold. I'm not surprised. $3,000 for a machine that should have sold for about $5,000, and that's the full length long wheelbase. This is a Ford, but it's actually a Mazda copy. But that's the long wheelbase one, and it was propane converted as well. And I don't know what that is on the side. It almost looks like a blimmin' PowerPoint. So there's the propane plugs down the bottom there. And an automatic as well, 2001. So usually they'd go for about $5,000. He had it for $3. I think it might have had a few. Yeah, it needs a little bit of exterior work. I think the tailgate was just getting a little bit of surface rust. Let's go to the good shit. Here we are again, back to the real bottom of the barrel. And sorry for having to wait all the time every time this thing wants to jump. Yeah, that's for real. And I probably should have done this earlier on. I don't think it's going to work. That's about as good as we're going to get. You're seeing what you think you're seeing. That's rust in the front. They call it patina, but no, it's just rust. And they think it looks nice. It makes it unroadworthy. And that's, yeah, a few brown marks, but that's actually painted brown. But you can see the top there and the top edge there. That's actually rust as well. Yeah, surface rust. And more rust on the side with the same little brown paint pattern at the back there. Yep. And even more on the tailgate. Yep. And they think it's somehow frickin' artistic or some bullshit. Now look at the age of the interior here. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Look at the speedometer. You thinking what I'm thinking? I'll tell you, you're probably correct. At least there's no rust on the inside. But anyway, I'll show you exactly what it is and how much they want. They're frickin' insane, these people. $1982. That's right. Get that straight. 1982, and they want $3,500. You're frickin' insane. What are they? I'll give it in their own words. Here we go. This is a brilliant van with so much character. Purchased with the intention of turning it into a basic weekender for two. In other words, they were going to live in it. But life got in the way. It has lived in Batesman's Bay for many years, hence the rusty look that is only on the surface, which we had intended to keep as is. Rightio. You got to see this one. The rusty look that is only on the surface, which we had intended to keep as is. Well, you wouldn't be getting it on the road, dumbass. Will supply last roadworthy. Will supply last roadworthy. Well, it doesn't matter. It's going to be current one. Otherwise, you're buggered. Located in a place in rural Victoria. Here's the best one of all, and I'll be laughing if this is sold. Some of these they take down. I don't know if they're actually sold. Or they're just taken down off the sites, because that might be their way of, when I refresh it weeks later, to show that. Okay, well here you got a little dent in the door. You can barely see there. And a fair decent one in the fender that's fairly obvious. This is the Daewoo, the absolute shithole of South Korea. That's just underneath the headlight. A few little buff marks on the side of the bumper, no big deal. Showing the light again. Yep, everything's fading. These were the cars that famously never even got to 65,000 miles. I'm not joking. That is a bloody leopard print. I'm not joking, it's a leopard print radio. You can't make this shit up. I'm not joking. Wow. I didn't think that sort of shit was available in my country. Yeah, there's the paperwork. This is all the roadworthy paperwork, I think. Or is it the sales paper? I don't know. All the forms look the same. So this is pretty big. So I'm not gonna get you zoom in on it. This is my first ever car purchase on the 21st of February 2018. I spent over $2,000 in repairs fixing it up, and it has been reliable until 2 months ago. So hang on, so let's get this straight. She purchased it in February 2018. Rightio, I will show you that. February 2018. I spent over $2,000 in repairs fixing it up, and it has been reliable until 2 months ago. Now, mind you, I saw this on here a month or more ago. So what she's trying to say is she's lasted about, after buying it, then spending another $2,000 on it, it has lasted probably around 18 months. When it started making a constant buzzing noise and the transmission started acting up. The driver's side door handle was broken off due to being left in the sun and will need replacing. No drunk guy punched it. No friend accidentally yanked it out of the door. It has broken due to being left in the sun. Yeah, okay, I'll show that one too. Has broken off due to being left in the sun. I'm not joking. The driver's window, now that's the driver's side door handle, so you got to get through in the passenger side and then shuffle across. The driver's door does not roll down due to a dent caused by a person who backed out into me, which you can see the very slight dent that's there, but either way, they might have punched that out, and but still, the window doesn't roll down. There is a hole in the dash directly above the glove box, which was caused by my friend's dog who jumped up on it when it was already cracked from the previous owner I bought it for. So it was already cracked when she bought it, and the dog blew it out even bigger. So now there's a hole in the dash directly above the glove box. There also is no air conditioning, but the heating does work. Oh, thank God. That's the first time in umpteen lines you mention what does work. The tyres are under a year old? That's interesting. Does that mean you only drove it for a year? Because to get it on the road, you've got to have good quality tyres. And if the tyres are under a year old, well, you might have put it on when you rode with it. So it might have only driven for less than a year, at which point it's been reliable up until 2 months ago. Right. Lights are under 6 months old. Radiator and muffler and brakes are also under 6 months old. Now, your leopard skin print aftermarket CD player does work, but the car speakers are a bit fuzzy and crackly sounding. So your leopard print stereo system does work, but she's all a little bit fuzzy and crackly sounding. It has never been an accident or written off. Oh, geez, well it didn't need to be because it's already a heap of shit. Hang on a minute, didn't we just say up here that someone backed out into me? Caused by a person who backed out into me. Yes, but it's never been... Where are we again? But it's never been an accident or written off. But all the same, that big front fender bang and the door bang, that's someone that backed into you. Okay, rightio, you haven't had a full-on collision, but I don't know if you'd say it hasn't been an accident. It does have some paint scratches. Do they even fucking matter, considering all the other things? But in reality, there isn't that much that needs to be done to get it fully roadworthy again, and would still make an excellent first car for under $2,000. I think from memory she was trying to sell this thing for about $800 or $1,200. Oh, but you know, it's just no big deal, rightio. So you spent $2,000 on it. It looks like you've driven it for a year, maybe less. Constant buzzing noise, transmission acting up, smashed in front fender, bent front door, can't get the driver's door window to go down, the driver's door handle broke off because of being in the sun, there's a hole in the dashboard, The air conditioning's died, the CD player works, but they're all very crackly noises coming out of the CD player, and it does have some paint scratches, but really there's nothing much. There's not much that needs to be done to make it roadworthy again. Oh, wow. But then there's another one that's missed there. Oh yeah, here she gets into, yeah, that front little thing as well, whether you blow your light there, would have had to been fixed. But the light housing itself, new bulbs, are $200 on their own, so please don't give me unreasonable offers. This person has never heard of sinking money into a car that doesn't pay you back. It's not registered and does not have a roadworthy. Car does run, and the new parts I've installed over the past year alone are worth quite a lot. In a car that's a dead duck. 1997 with almost exactly 100,000 miles on the kilometre. On the kilometres. 100,000 miles on the friggin' clock. Anyway. That pretty much sums up my little thing there, but somebody's trying to claw their money back, and has sunk a lot of money into a shit heap. And I tell you what, although I'm fairly pro South Korean cars, I'm really not pro that type. They went down for a reason. Somehow Daewoo Russia exists, so I think for whatever reason the person in Russia or the plant in Russia decided to maybe have a freaking, float themselves on the market, or somehow break themselves away and either have public investors or private investors or some sort of, maybe bought by another automaker. But Daewoo Russia is the only one that survived, and the GMs that are exceedingly shitty, many of those are actually coming out of the old Daewoo factory in South Korea. Yes. So we've had things like the Viva, the Epica, and the glorious Captiva that, some of you in the US might know. It's sort of been replaced with the Equinox. I don't know if you got it with the Equinox badge on it, and ours was a Captiva, and then our next model was an Equinox. But the Equinox is ever so slightly smaller, at least the one we've got now. But all the cars that have come out, they're all a crap, basically. So yeah, and also the Cruise, that some of you might really know about in the United States, that initially come out of there, and then we started making a right-hand drive version here, and all of a sudden the quality went through the roof, and it became a good car, but it's still a shit car in the States, so it still might be made there. But it's the exact same Cruise that you've got, that we've got, except ours went to be Australian made, and after they closed the Australian factory, they just discontinued it altogether. I think. I don't know for certain, but I'm not seeing that many. Well, they're not standing out, the new ones anyway, if they are still there. Anyway, that's my little waffle there. Oh yes, that Viva one that I mentioned that was made in that same factory, there's one on here, and it has done 78,000 Ks, which I think is around about 40,000 miles, and it's got a blown head gasket after 40,000 miles. You couldn't make this up. That has come out of that same Daewoo factory that's making all the shitty Chevs.